Heat second-year forward Jaime Jaquez Jr. is going to shock the NBA, not only this year, but for his entire NBA career. I am very bullish on Jaquez's future with the Miami Heat, and you should be too. We'll explain why coming up here in just a second. But show Jaime Jaquez Jr. some love down in the comment section. A fan favorite of the Heat fans, and rightfully so. So show your support for Triple J by spamming those Triple J's down in the comment section. Whoever spams Triple J the most from this video is going to shout out on a video early this upcoming week. All right, let's talk about Jaime now, because I really do believe he is going to have a breakout second season and just continue his, I guess, momentum towards being one of the top players on this team as he continues to get better and better. He had an unbelievable rookie season where he was able to put up numbers and have a role and be depended on way more than I thought. And I don't believe any other Heat reporter, fan, insider, content creator, it doesn't really matter, could have it expected from Jaime Jaquez Jr. because you just simply don't see an 18th overall pick have the impact that Jaquez has that often, and I think there's even more potential there for him to really explode onto the scene as a top player in this league, and heck, maybe even an NBA All-Star. We're going to get into 5 reasons why I believe that. Number 1, he's already a proven player. It is not often that after 1 year in the NBA as a rookie, you can confidently say this player is proven. And you know the baseline with Jaime Jaquez Jr. Like, it's not going to get worse than what he did last year. It's almost impossible to get worse because he didn't even shoot that good from 3. So how could he become a worse player than he was as a rookie? I don't think he is. He averaged 11.9 points per game last year, shot 49% from the field. The only downside of Jaime Jaquez Jr.'s game in his rookie season was his three-point shooting. He started off the year actually really good from beyond the arc. He was shooting close to 40% in the first couple months of the season, but really struggled down the stretch. And that groin injury he suffered in December and early January really kind of ended his momentum. Like, he just wasn't the same player after that, and he was up and down at times, but we know how good he was in October, November, and most of December. And to me, you're just going to see an improvement in him as a shooter. He's going to become more fluid in catching and releasing the ball. We saw it at NBA Summer League, and it wasn't a crazy high volume, and it wasn't against the talent that he'll see during the regular season and playoffs, but shooting the ball looked just much more natural to him, much more smooth into his release and off the catch and off the dribble. And shooting 32% isn't good. If he bumps that number up to 35 to 38%, like in that range, and becomes a slightly average to below average three-point shooter, like, he's going to up his points per game to a minimum 13, 14 points per game, and that's just from adding a more efficient three ball. He also has experience in the postseason. He played in 4 playoff games for Miami last season, obviously having to fill in for Jimmy Butler after he suffered that knee injury. Jaquez did an extremely good job, in my opinion. Like, you just simply can't expect to get more out of Triple J as a rookie playing against the best team and eventual NBA champions. He started off good, having a 16-point game, shooting 50%, then had 14, 3 for 6 from 3. Like, it was descending, and then he obviously missed Game 5 due to injury. But Jaquez, as a rookie who is getting guarded by Derek White at times, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Like, those are 4 really good defenders. Jaquez was being defended by them as a rookie and trying to be an initiator for that Heat offense. I just don't think you could actually ask for anything else out of him. And if Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier are there and Jaquez gets pushed back to his 3rd, 4th option role on any given lineup, well, you're going to see a much more efficient Jaime Jaquez Jr. And he did exactly what you wanted him to do when he played in the 2 Summer League games. I was absolutely stunned to see him on that roster for the first 2 games against Oklahoma City and Boston. And he averaged 26 points per game, shot 40% from 3, almost 50% from the field, and he just looked like a man amongst boys out there. And that's how you would have expected him to look. If he went out there and averaged 15 points a game and shot 40% from the field and 35% from 3, I would be a little bit concerned about his growth and development. But he displayed why he is expected to be a really key contributor for this Heat team this upcoming season. He's as proven as it gets if you're talking about a second-year guy in this upcoming season. I also think the second reason why he will succeed this upcoming year, this is more of just this season, not the future, but his increased role this season. The Heat are absolutely banking on Triple J to take a leap for this roster. When they made no trades this offseason, at least to this point, they weren't able to get D-Mitch. They're not really interested in other players like Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Trae Young. Like, they're banking on Jovic, Jaquez, and the rookie Kel'el Ware to be impact players once again. Specifically, Jovic and Jaquez taking a massive leap. And to me, I would expect him to really shine this year because Caleb Martin leaving, that's going to add a more volume of shots for Jaquez coming off the bench. And if I'm going to be honest, my expectations for Jaime Jaquez Jr. this upcoming season is to be the main sixth man. You can argue that he could be the starter as the starting two guard. I'm just not really sure if he's going to be able to guard the quick, shifty ball handlers in the backcourt, at least to this point in his career. He's more suited as a three in my book. Small ball four, sure, but that even is a little bit aggressive if you're asking me. Like, I think he is a three, and that's his position. It's the perfect height, speed, and what he does for him. But if he's the sixth man coming off the bench and is the first guy for Eric Spoelstra to come in and replace like a Jimmy Butler or a Nikola Jovic if they're the starters, that makes a lot of sense for me, and I would expect him to shine in that role as he's going to probably get an increased amount of shots this upcoming regular season. Before we move on here, we are losing in our August sub battle. 85 subs for the Bulls report, only 30 here on the Heat report. That is a very low number after about a week and a half of the month of August. Can we hit that sub button, folks? We're putting out daily Heat content. We'll be here for the regular season. Hey, training camp's only a month and a half away, October 1st. It's going to get here much sooner than we think. Hit that sub button because we'll have you covered on everything surrounding the Heat. A third reason why Jaime Jaquez Jr. will succeed. He's a Jimmy Butler disciple, and I am very excited to watch Jaquez continue to learn under Jimmy Butler and then eventually maybe even be his replacement. If you recall, on the night that Jaime Jaquez Jr. got drafted, they asked him, who is your favorite player in the league? And they actually asked him that a couple weeks prior to the draft as well. You know what his answer was? It was Jimmy Butler. Jaime Jaquez Jr. has always had an affection for Jimmy Butler's game and the way that he plays the game of basketball on both sides of the floor. And I think it's very likely that Jaime Jaquez Jr. is going to be able to learn more from Jimmy as he continues to progress throughout his NBA career while Butler's on this roster, and then eventually be his replacement as the starting three in this Heat team alongside Jovic, Bam, and whatever young players end up sticking on this team. I'm very fond of the idea of him continuing to grow under Butler. And I do want to mention this as well when we talk about Jimmy Butler and Jaime Jaquez Jr. and their development. Yes, this picture of Jimmy Butler is in a Heat uniform, but if you actually look at the statistics here, I wanted to make a point. This is Jimmy Butler in his first 4 seasons of his NBA career when he was a Chicago Bull. In 2011-2012, he didn't have a role for the team. Only played in half the games, averaged 2.6 points per game. Had a little bit more of a bigger role, played in all 82 in 2012-2013, averaged 8.6, then bumped up into year 3 of 13.1, and then really flashed onto the scene in 2014-2015 when he averaged 20 points per game. But just look at the first 2 seasons. Butler averaged 2 and 9 points if you round up. Triple J's already ahead of the curve on this one, folks. He averaged 12 points per game in his rookie season. I'm not going to say he's going to have the similar career arc as Jimmy Butler and end up becoming an all-NBA guy who can be a number 1 option on a championship contending team. I'm not here to make that statement, but I am here to say the fact that he was able to be such a good player in his first season in terms of scoring the basketball and being a productive role player on a team that made the playoffs makes me believe that there is a potential outcome where Triple J is a 20-point per game scorer, because we saw Jimmy Butler take that rise in years 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And I think that Jaquez could be on a similar trajectory where if Jimmy Butler does leave this team after the season, Jaquez might take that jump from 15 points a game this upcoming year to 20 points per game in the year following. Another reason why I think he will succeed, he's a plus defender. And to me, if you want to be a top-tier player in this league, We've seen it too many times and time again here. You're going to need to be at least adequate defensively. And if you want to be a top 2, top 3 player on a championship winning team, you have to be able to do it on both ends of the floor. There's a reason why the Trae Youngs of the world, the Bradley Beals of the world have never really been able to get it done, and why I'm skeptical of Luka Doncic being able to win a championship from an unbiased NBA observer. And it's the reason why James Harden really never got anything done either. You have to be able to lead your team on both sides of the floor, which is why Bam and Jimmy have had so much success together as a duo, is because they're great on both sides. And when you look at the Heat's top defensive guys from just one season ago, and look at the defensive ratings individually, they should not surprise you whatsoever that the number 1 guy on the Heat's defense and team was Bam Adebayo. It's just simply because he's the best defender in the world. And if I told you Haywood Highsmith and Jimmy Butler were the following 2 guys, that shouldn't shock you either, because both of them are also very good defensively. But there comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. as the 4th best defensive player for the Heat last season, if you account for everyone who started the season with Miami and ended the season with the Heat. Caleb Martin comes in at number 5, basically the same defensive rating, but Triple J was already a top 4 player on the Heat's defense last season, and that's as a rookie. So you would imagine if he gets more accustomed to NBA players, NBA speed, game slows down for him from year 1 to year 2, and he gets more athletic. He puts on a little bit more strength. He gets just more used to that NBA physicality. Like, he's only going to become a better defender. So I just think there's a lot of growth opportunity for Jaquez, both offensively and defensively. And for him to already be one of the top wing and guard defenders for the Heat as a rookie just makes me think another good defensive season's on the way for Jaime Jaquez Jr. Final reason why I think he's going to explode onto the scene coming up in just a second, but make sure you get this Heat hat. $8 off on sale right now, usually about $34 on sale for $26 when you go to chatsports.com/Heat hat. And if you end up wanting to see this hat, it fits all sizes. I love the way it looks with the 2-tone colors, the red, the cream, the 2 logos. If you click on the link, though, they also have other hats on sale for you as well. So go get some Heat gear that you can wear anywhere right now, chatsports.com/Heat hat. All right, the final reason that makes me very excited for Jaime Jaquez Jr. is the praise that he was receiving while playing for the USA Select team. If you don't know what I'm talking about, every time the Olympics rolls around, the main USA team goes to train in Las Vegas at the UNLV facilities. But they also bring a select team that includes some of the best young players in the world to help really, I guess, get them better, get them some experience in the USA system, but also allows them to play against the real USA team in 5-on-5s and allows them to scrimmage, right? And Jaquez Jr. was one of the better players there. And this included a lot of good young players like Keegan Murray, Brandon Podziemski. I believe that Cat Winmore wasn't there, but I believe Brandon Miller was there. Like, there was a lot of good young players there for Team USA Select. And the 2 players that got the most praise from the coaching staff and opposing players were Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Cooper Flagg. Now, it's kind of nuts that Cooper Flagg is that other player, considering he is just a freshman in college and the rest of the players were all NBA guys. But either way, it's good to see recognition from the coaching staff of Team USA, of players at Team USA, as they're 15 best players in the world, recognizing that Jaime Jaquez Jr. is as advertised. And that experience he received is absolutely invaluable. Getting to go up against LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, his teammate Bam Adebayo in practice every single day. You get to learn what it feels like to be playing the best players in the world. And those are the players that you're going to be seeing in the NBA leading opposing teams. And they're all together. So to have to play a team created with that much star power consistently and find ways to beat them defensively and offensively will only allow Jaquez to translate better when he's playing a little bit lower competition in the NBA. And yes, you heard that correctly. I'm very excited to see Jaquez in year 2 because of the experience he's got and the growth that he showed over his rookie season and in Summer League. Let me know, before we get out of here, what are your expectations for Triple J in 2024-25? It could be really anything. You could give me a points per game. You can tell me a role. You can tell me all-star, all-NBA, all-defense. It does not matter. Let me know your expectations for Triple J in the comment section. That'll do it for today's show. Make sure you are following me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff is my handle. I'm talking Heat basketball every single day. And if you want more content in between videos on the Miami Heat, my Twitter is the best place to find it. At Nic_Rohloff is the handle. As always, see you tomorrow in another video. Go Heat.